building his revs, very similar to Magpie Hector earlier in the night.
Yep.
Just out there, getting the unimpeded run, building his revs. Yeah, it's hard to want to come in to him on that pattern. But as we touch on, he does find a way to win. And, you know, he's most probably around that right price, that, you know, $8 or $10, that if you wanted to play in the race, you could have a little spec on him to make sure he's a green number in your book, not a red.
Yeah.
But he's going to rely on, you know, Poor Oswald nailing, Mavrico nailing, Conciliere nailing, and just all of that speed hunting down to the fence.
I feel like it's one of the very few times in a sprint Group 1 final that I'm happy to have something on a box 8. I detest box 8 at Sandown Park, and it is better here, but in these races of high pressure, it's still very difficult. But with that pattern of maybe Mavrico giving him a great card across, who could rule out Mapunga Reward? And boy, is he a great greyhound to watch as well, Nath.
Yeah, well, he is. He just finds a way, as we touched on earlier, and he just knows how to race. So there'll be no knock on him. He'll give 100% and he'll hold his own. He does that in every race he's been in through his 43 start career.
And it looks like Roving Jason is ready to have a chat to us potentially here with some of these Group 1 winning handlers, hopefully. Who will he go to? It looks like he's going to Lukey Thompson with Dramatical, Jace.
Thanks, Duck. Dramatical, Luke. He's not going to begin well. He's got the draw that he wants. He's going to have to chase down some fast dogs. How's he going to do it?
Well, we don't know. He's been able to do it in some pretty incredible ways the last few weeks or month or so, if you include Warrigal. Just every time we've stepped him up to the class and grade, he's been able to answer and respond, and it's his biggest test to date, and we're hoping he can respond.
Consigliere in box 3, what sort of chance do you consider him?
Yeah, he's a good chance. They're both really drawn well. They both probably need a draw inside in a class field like this to show their best. He's probably got a little bit more consistent early speed, and with a lot of the speed outside of Clear starting to probably being out wide, it gives him the chance of possibly holding out, getting close to the front, and give himself every possibility as well.
Go well, mate.
Thanks, Jace.
Luke Thompson there, and Dramatical representing Team Thompson, of course, Consigliere, the other one they've got, who will jump from box 3. Sky One's not too far away from joining us. Brendan Purcell, Cleo Star, of course, was the fastest semi-final winner last Saturday night with pace. Can hear disco in my ear. Sky One's about to join. I'll keep going until he crosses. Thanks, Disco. With BP, Brendan Purcell has got Cleo Star, one of the favourites in the Australian Cup upcoming. Brendan, she's got the pace. She was equal fastest semi-final winner last week. Can she replicate it tonight and take home a cup?
I've got no reason why she couldn't, but yeah, like she is a dog, and we're all hoping that she does the same thing. Yeah, just get out of it and get out in front and catch me if you can's tactics.
Who do you consider the biggest danger?
Sort of hoping the 3 can drop in front onto my back and the 1 and sort of the 1 won't be driving up around the first turn behind me. So if the 3 can get in behind me, it'll have to go around it or underneath it before it gets to me. So yeah, I'd say the 1.
Good luck.
Thank you.
There's BP, Brendan Purcell. Craig Solkin has got Mapunga Reward. This boy was outstanding 2 weeks ago in the Tem Lee. No one's ever in his camp, are they? But he's double figure odds in a big race from a suitable draw. How do you think he's going to go?
Yeah, hopefully as long as he comes off safe and sound, that's the main thing. But yeah, no big odds, but he's probably worth it at the price.
You'll be finishing better than any of them, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure, but see how we go.
Good luck.
Cheers, mate.
Nathan Rooney, Michael Tye, back to you for your take on this Australian Cup for 2026.
Thanks, Jace. Yeah, Mapunga Reward, he's an absolute champion. Who could rule him out here? I think the better Mavrico jumps from box 7, the more that'll bring Mapunga Reward into the race. Box 8 is always problematic in these big Group 1 sprint finals, but box 8 may not be so bad here. I'm actually leaning towards number 5, Slick Splits. He's the king of the meadows over these sprint trips. He was just sensational last start here. Luckless run, nearly mowed down Dramatical, which was an incredible effort. Just think he's got a sense of timing about him for the dailies here. It was a freakish run. I think just at the price, I'm happy to be on him here at $5.50. Mapunga Reward in for second. He's a champion. Never rule him out off that map, but it's based on Mavrico jumping, and Dramatical has got the draw. He's got the Thompson factor. He's the potential next superstar of the sport. Does Cleo Star maybe cut him off early, and he's just going to have to barge through and be at his absolute best here. It's a wide open Australian final. My numbers are 5, 8, 1 and 3. Nath, who are you with?
Now, I said it with Slick Splits as well. 5, 2, 3 and 1, my numbers. I thought he was amazing last week. I like him when he's drawn in the middle of the track. He gets box 5 here. If he can begin cleanly, he might be able to hold the outside brigade early, get outside of Cleo Star. And if you go back and watch the replay of what he was able to produce last week, he was back to his brilliant best. So 5 on top for me. 2 in for second, Cleo Star, the likely leader of the race. I think she's going to make her own luck, and that's the place to be. 3, Conciliary in for third, around going places. He hasn't got a bad map here either, and 1 Dramatical for fourth. Pretty even race, but 5, 2, 3 and 1 for the Australian Cup final.
And how about that special on screen for tab customers? Scan the QR code, $7 for the favourite of the Australian Cup. We'll jump from box 1 at $2.80. A race that is so deep in history, deep in prestige, and every one of these would be deserving to join what is a illustrious honour roll, one of the greats of the sport. It's storied, it's magic. This is the Australian Cup final. Here's Dan Hibbard for the 2026 edition.
Form, Temley winner, second in the semi-final last start. He's won 19 of 43, 6 of 17 over this trip. Double figures the rest, but that's no disrespect. Some of these have got good form, but they're in a hot race. Poor Oswald, well, if an honest dog deserves to win, it's him. He's done everything right in the last few months in the free-for-all circuit here in Melbourne. He's won 30 races from 76 and run a further 30 minor placings. It's an incredible record. $17 Mavrico. Great story if he can win the race. He won his heat. He's won a semi-final. He's got 1 more box to tick. And Irish Bill was second in his semi behind Mavrico. He's won 11 of 23. It's a great field. They're moving in. The Sportsbet Australian Cup final for 2026. The favourite wears red, Dramatical. They are set to run. Racing, Dramatical only fair to go. Cleo Star won the start. Speed out Slick Splits. Now Dramatical driving through, and he will lead. Slick Splits on the outside of Consigliere. Right there was poor Oswald. Getting checked was Irish Bill. Went back to last, past him Mapunga Award. Then came Mavrico, but Dramatical's away. 4 lengths in front. Slick Splits to second around Consigliere, and then came poor Oswald. Well back Mapunga Award. Dramatical in front. He's clear, and Dramatical will win the Australian Cup. 2.5 on Slick Splits and Consigliere. 4th across the line was Mapunga Award, I think, just ahead of poor Oswald. Then came Cleo Star and Mavrico. I said it about Explicit that he was the next big thing. This bloke, he just arrived as well. Dramatical wins the Australian Cup.
He's brutal. He's an Australian Cup winner, Luke Thompson. That was awesome and got to the front a lot earlier than what we expected.
We had a feeling tonight that he might just be able to do that. As soon as I see him just jump with him, Cleo Star gave him enough room, and that's all he needs. He just needs enough room and he'll just take it. And when he pushed through on that corner the first time, Slick Splits was riding behind him. He's 2-time Group 1 winner, superstar, but he's just, yeah. The rise this dog's taken on, he's won 10 of his last 11, and to think that first start he won was a mixed 6-7 at Healesville. To have that leap to go from there to where he is now, it's quite remarkable, really.
Have you ever had a greyhound at the age of which he is at the moment do what he's doing? He's not yet 2 years of age.
Probably not in the way that he's done it as well. Like, he's always the dog that had showed ability, but the way he's improved to be a 29.57 dog. When early doors he was probably a 29.80 dog, and that we're talking probably 3 months ago. To now he's running that time in an Australia Cup of not in a grade 5. So, yeah, I can't recall a dog ever doing a rise like this. It's, yeah, pretty incredible.
The camp's had a great record in many big races and cups around Australia. Not an Australian Cup in the trophy room's pretty handy.
Yeah, it was for a long time a big hoodoo race for Dad, and it was a race that he really wanted to win. And Tim Zoo, he probably come through the ranks similar to him. Like, he did make a Melbourne Cup, but he went through a very similar path. He won a Warrigal Cup, and he's followed the same form line. Yeah, now to have 2, it's, yeah, just every race is special, but to win a race like this, just with such deep history, and having a look at the honour roll the other day, it's just so many incredible dogs, and he's on there at the list now, so yeah, just wrapped.
Tell you what, I can barely hear a word you said there, Luke. This crowd is up and about, so you get a shot of that. The boys are celebrating the win of Dramatical. He's a rocket. Your team is unbelievable. Congratulations.
Thanks, Chase. Always appreciated. Ta.
Luke Thompson there, guys, and Dramatical. He's blown up the clock. He's an absolute star. So young, so bloody good.
Indeed, Jace. May have seen the next superstar of the sport here. What a win this was by Dramatical. He jumped a little bit better than anticipated there and just got that barge factor. He just pushed Cleo Star out of the way, Nath, and then running the sectionals that he was, it was going to be very hard to catch. Slick Splits was sensational in defeat, but the next superstar of the sport made amazing use of box 1 there, Nath.
Yeah, began Jason Thompson masterclass to get a slow beginner who, 5.15, 5.18 early to hold the fence, running 5.07 early. That might not have quite been his split, but he's not far off of it. And then the 17.48 is unheard of up the back. Just got him rolling. He broke their hearts down the back and he was up and rolling. Slick Splits, brilliant in defeat, beaten a length and 3/4, but just couldn't tack onto him down the back with that phenomenal mid-race pace of Dramatical. And deserved Group 1 winner. His rise, to stardom has been rapid. And he's only a baby, he's not even 2 years of age and he's 36 kilos. He shouldn't be doing the things that he's doing at this stage of his career, but he goes around Monday night in a Ballarat Cup heat, just on the back up as well. So, he's a phenomenal athlete, he's a phenomenal animal, and he could be the star of the sport in the next 12 months.
And you saw... No, I was going to say, you saw the data backed it up on Cleo Star just running those sizzling sectionals, and it just goes to show you when there's a race going into the corner with high pressure and the barge factor that he showed for such a young dog, just to almost just push Cleo Star aside and maximise the impact of that draw. Both myself and Nath, just under about the semaphore board, Nathan, we gave each other a look and said Slick Splits is going to be right in this because of the way the race shaped in the semi-final, but Dramatical just kicked into another gear with that amazing time of 17.48 to the back, Jace.
17.48 is absolutely electric, and it's reserved for the absolute powerhouse of the sport. And for one like him, Nath, who's a slow beginner, they go 48. I mean, when I see those sort of numbers, you just giggle. 80s is decent, 70s is pretty sharp, 60s is flying, 50s out of control, 40s, that is next level.
Yeah, and he's most probably run 5.10 as well. So from the peg to the back marker is absolutely unheard of. You think Fernando Bale, but Fernando Bale's running 4.90s when he's doing that, 4.95, 17.4s. This dog's running 5.10. So between peg to back marker, he's putting most probably a couple of lengths on the greats like Fernando Bale. That shows you the high speed this greyhound's got. And to think, like as Luke said, he really come of age up the straight at Hillsville. What price would you get him now, thinking in a little 6-7 race on a Sunday afternoon at Hillsville, he would be able to produce what he's been able to produce now. So, no, unbelievable. Tulio's just having a real rich vein of form with Jason Thompson. And, it's funny, you kind of look back 6 months ago and explicit time comes to an end and he goes to start. And, geez, the page turns over pretty quickly and you find a Dramatical real quick. And the ball just keeps rolling, and full credit to Jason, Shona, Amanda, Tulio, and the whole Tulio family. That's a fantastic effort and a rise to stardom for this dog. And the world's his oyster. When you think 36 kilos, not even 2 years of age, we talked about Magpie Hector getting the 2.5, 3 to show his prime. We'll wait till this bloke has another 6 months of racing and another 25 starts under his belt. It'd be scary what he'll be doing come Melbourne Cup time. Yeah,
and to show you how fascinating this rise to stardom is, debuted in a Geelong maiden, started $2.40, ran second, then went to a Meadows heat here on a Wednesday night, didn't win that either, started at $3.50, but made his way through to the maiden final a Saturday week later, ran fifth. It was only at his fourth start on the 31st of October that he won his maiden at Geelong off box 8. Incredible, incredible rise.
And now, do you think he goes around on Monday night in the Ballarat Cup heat?
Oh, 100%. He's only had a pipe opener.
That'd be pretty rare. The dogs of this status to go around within 48 hours.
Yeah. Well,
I think it's fantastic, but you just don't see it.
No, we don't see it. And it works, even though it's most probably a day or two closer than the ideal preparation for the Thompson kennel. It rolls into a nice final and then that rolls into Shepherd. And so it actually keeps the ball rolling and everything ticking over beautifully. It might be, a day or two too close, but I've drawn underneath him, Jace, and I am millions after seeing that tonight.
And he's had the 2 starts at Ballarat as well, so he's had that track experience. He would have trialled there too. this was a swap with Horsham Cup, I believe, with the timing.
Yeah.
I don't think he would have gone to Horsham, put it that way.
Oh,
But
imagine a dog with his mid-race and that big 480 around Horsham where he's been able to balance up. Like, they're most probably glad it's at Ballarat, the rival's not at Horsham, because he would be unbeatable at a track like Horsham. That's a real big, open, strong dogs track. That just suits him down to the ground. But nonetheless, we'll see him on Monday night. And if we don't, I most probably won't be too disappointed, but the rest of the greyhound community and well would be.
Just on that short backup, Duck, the Dailies do this a bit, don't they? I remember when Dinah Paddy had a short backup from Warrnambool and then went to a Speed Star and went 29 flat at Sandown. Although we say it doesn't happen too often, I mean, you could ask most people and they'd say that most greyhounds would be able to do it. Not all, of course.
I remember there was a greyhound of the Dailies that raced at the Meadows on a Wednesday night, and then it was in one of the carnival nights at Sandown the following night, and it wasn't in anyone's form guide. And I can't remember how the dog went on the night, but he ran well. So if they haven't done much between races, Nath, it's probably this is more your domain than mine. And they wouldn't be running him if they weren't right to go.
No, and Jason Thompson's training method and training regime, if you follow him closely, he'll be the first to tell you that he's not a big galloper compared to a lot of other trainers. He does a lot of walking machine work and a lot of time out in the paddock, and they do their own thing. But he's very consistent at his trialling, and he keeps the dogs up to the mark. I'd nearly go as saying you won't find a fitter dog in any state of the country than out of Jason Thompson's. They're rock solid fit. This would be no different than just a pipe opener for him. He'll get home, he'll freshen up, and he'll just be ready to roar on Monday. And geez, if the track most probably won't because there's a bit of rain coming, but if the track was electric at Ballarat, he'd absolutely blow up the clock.
Duck, you always talk about the Thompson factor, and as much as we don't gloat about them too often, and that is only because we see this so often, at some point in time, and it needs to happen frequently, the record of which they produce, and this has been a couple of years in the making, is second to none. And you could have the argument they get the good dogs and whatever, and that is true as well. But to keep them up like they do for such a period of time, I feel like there's very few kennels in the country who are able to do it near that level. Yeah,
and just so meticulous. The kennels are spotless there. I couldn't stop looking at Dramatical here right behind the boxes. He just looked an absolute $1 million. And you can see him there, even though he's just had a really hard run, he still looks fantastic. And